The Arnold Render View is an IPR-based render view. IPR stands for Interactive Pixel Render. That means that every time I move my camera, or my objects, or my lights, that will automatically update in the render view, which is really handy. This may drive your computer a little bit crazy, and in the render view there is this red square here. This is the Start Stop button. So if I hit that, that will pause my render, and now I can manually rerun a render at any point I want. Inside the render view, you'll find that there are some helpful icons. We'll go through these more as we need them. The big things that you should know. This beauty pull down at first will do absolutely nothing. The perspective shape icon, when you start adding custom cameras, they'll live in here. This is Isolate Select, and if I just want to look at one object, I can select it, hit Isolate Select, and then I should be able to see just that one object. This will show me my red, green, and blue channels. Right now there's no difference between them. That's my alpha, or my transparency. And now you can see the transparency. This will also show me luminance data. And finally, it will go back to normal. This will show me alpha again. This will bring me up to 100% pixels if I'm not there. This will allow me to render just a single region, so if I just wanted to test this one region, I could. That's useful when your renders are really slow. This render is pretty quick. This last one took me 5 seconds. When you're up to a 10 to 15 minute render, this button is a lifesaver. I don't think we'll be doing any renders that long in this class, but I don't know what kind of computer you're working with, so you might want to keep this button in mind. This last icon here is the gamma control, and gamma is deceiving because it will look like it brightens or darkens your image, but these changes will not export outside of Maya. It's just a preview, so I generally recommend that you not use this. Down at the bottom in this corner I can see my render time. This last render took 4 seconds. My render is 960 by 540 pixels. I'm rendering through the perspective shape, and these numbers here are my sample settings. These samples will generate a cleaner or rougher render for you. To adjust them, I can go to Windows, Rendering Editors, Render Settings. In the Render Settings, there is an Arnold Renderer tab. The Arnold Renderer tab will allow me to adjust the number of samples in my render, which will make it smoother or rougher, but will also adjust the render time. So this render here took me 4 seconds, but I can see a lot of grain in this shadow region. To make the sampling easy, Camera AA is anti-alias sampling. Anti-alias sampling works as a multiplier for all the other types of samples, so all I have to do is turn the Camera AA number up. If I turn this up to 5, I will see that my render takes considerably longer. It's been 4 or 5 seconds, and I'm only at 40%. But it will generate a much cleaner shadow for me. Everyone has to balance for themselves how much grain they want to have in their render, as opposed to how much time they have in order to render. Generally, I recommend keeping the Camera AA samples at the preview level, which is 3, while you're testing your lighting out, and then when you think you're about done, going through and turning the Camera AA settings back up. The last thing that I'll mention is down here there is a little camera icon. The camera icon will allow me to save a snapshot. So here's my snapshot with 3 AA samples. If I set my AA samples back up to 5, Arnold will re-render. I can right-click on my snapshot and set it to A, and then I can pull these little sliders around so I can take a look at that very rough, grainy shadow. This is the A side with 3 AA samples. This is the B side with 5 AA samples. And now I can see whether that smoothing is really worth it. Finally, if you ever need to save an image out, these snapshots won't really help that much. The File menu at the top of the render view has a Save Image option. This Save Image option will allow me to save out an image for myself. It doesn't really give you choices as to what type of image it's going to save. It's going to save a JPEG, but you do get to browse for its location and name it something sensible. So there is that. That is my brief introduction to the Arnold Render View, and along with it the Render Settings window for sample settings. And again, the Render Settings window was Windows, Rendering Editors, Render Settings. When I come back, I will talk a little bit more about lighting.